Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video will be a bit different because we won't talk about music but about deepfakes. And if you like this content, maybe consider subscribing and even leave a like, and if you have any questions, just leave a comment, I will reply to everyone. Okay, so we will be using DeepFaceLab, and you can find the GitHub page in the description. There you can just scroll down a bit. Don't use the clone or download button here, but just scroll down a bit further until you find the Prebuild Windows app. Just click on the link here. It will open this page, and there you can see which version you need. If you have an NVIDIA GPU, just take the CUDA 9.2 version, and if you have a RTX card by NVIDIA, take a 10.1 CUDA version. If you have anything different, for example a AMD or an Intel HD card, use the OpenCLSSE version. I'm gonna use Mega. You can just click on the link, kind of redirect to Mega, and here you can find many exe files. You can also find some data sets, and I try to always get the newest version because there are many versions in here, and try to sort for the upload date so that the newest version is at the top right. I would download the CUDA 9.2 version for my system. Just click on it, right click on it, and click on download, and then download as a zip data. So then if you have downloaded it, just extract the exe file, the zip file, sorry, and then execute the exe file. And if you can, try to extract it to just the root of your C drive, so right here. But if you can't, you can also extract it somewhere different, but you will have less problems if you extract it to your C drive. Then you will have this folder right here. You can double click on it, and you will have many bad files. But we'll pay attention to the Workspace folder. In there you have 3 folders, as well as you should have 2 MP4s, but I have 3, more to that later, 2 MP4 files. First off, we have to classify 2 names, which is DST and SRC. SRC is short for source, which means this will be the face you will extract and put on a different face. This different face will be the DST face, or the destination face. So for example, your face or maybe another face, and source could be the prominent person. I will just use these stock footages. You will also get included in the Workspace folder. We will have a look at those folders later, but first of all we will just go a step back. And those BAT files are sorted through those different numbers here. And that's good because all of those numbers represent one step. First of all, you can clear the workspace, but you don't really have to. And also, if you execute any of those bad files, every time will open a command window. You can clean your workspace, that will just delete everything in those folders. So the first thing you will do is extract the images out of the source video. This is better for the algorithm to process. It can easily process images, and it's just easier for it to process images rather than a video. So just double click this bad file, and I want the full FPS. So you will always have a default setting if you skip this step. So just hit enter and it will be fine. But I want JPEGs because they are a lot smaller, so just type JPEG and click enter. Now it will process a bit. You can see the speed down here and also at which frame it is, and done. And don't have any concerns because this is German down here. That's just because I have a German Windows installation. So yeah, probably in your case it will be in English or any other language your Windows runs in. Click any key and that's done. The next step we can jump over because I don't have to cut my video, but I want to extract the images from the destination video as well. So double click that, and as well I want JPEGs. Well, just type JPEG, click enter, and it will process So now that it's done, we can again close this window. And I don't really need to denoise it. And now we actually get to a part where we need the neural network. We have two algorithms here. First, the MT and S3FD. I will use S3FD because it's normally the case to go to, and it's pretty much the thing which has less false positives. You can also choose which GPU you want, but I just have one GPU in my system right now, and so with this one it will always pick the best GPU. Again, just double click. And this is the thing where it first will take a bit longer, because it now performs 3 passes where it tries to get, in every frame we extracted before, tries to get the picture of a head, or actually a face, and we'll extract this picture and save it as a own picture. Okay, so now that it's done, we have a little window right here that says that it found 654 faces out of 655 images, and that's actually pretty good, because if we would have more faces than images, it would mean that it would detect a few faces that aren't faces generally. Although if you have 2 persons in a shot, that's not a problem, but then it can be, of course, it should be that you have more faces than images, of course. And as well, you can see that it did 3 passes, and the 3rd pass always will be on the CPU. If we would now have a look in the Workspace folder, we can see that our data, DST and source folder are now filled. Destination folder just have the images for now, just all the frames. And if we hop back into the source folder, we can of course see all the images. But if we have a look in the align folder, which was empty before, we can now see all just square images with faces in them. And that's cool, because we have the possibility to process them now, or actually to train our model, which will then be used to transform the model and put on the destination video. So go back to our batch files, and we could now sort the images. That's pretty useful if you have some shots maybe where you have a lot of motion blur or something, but in my case I don't. But you could sort by blur and then just easily delete the ones with blur. And you can also, if you have multiple persons in a shot and just want one person, yeah, of course you want just one person, but you can easily isolate that one person, all the images of that one person, by using the sort by dissimilar face. So you then just have the pictures of one face and then the pictures of the other face. So now we're gonna do the same for the destination. Again, just double click the batch file. We will open this command prompt. Okay, so this took a while, and we can see that it found a few faces. It's okay. Again, and we'll have a look at the destination and aligned, because I know that we will have a few false positives in here. Just look through all of those pictures carefully. First, I'm just looking for pictures like this where I just rotated them wrongly. Just delete them. And here, where he has his hand in front of his face, it's really difficult for the algorithm to figure out if it's in which direction to turn the picture. I'm also gonna delete this one. Okay, so now all pictures are rotated correctly. I'm gonna go into my workspace, into our bat data, and I want to go to step 5 again, and I want to sort by the blur. Okay, so that done, we can hop back in our workspace line folder, and now we have all the pictures aligned like for blur. You can see the original form. And here we have the blurry pictures. Yep, we have And I'm gonna go through a few pictures which aren't optimal for the algorithm to train on. But make sure to not delete too many pictures, because of course those frames will then be missing. And with here on the top are some pictures I also want to delete. Pictures where you can't really see the face, because it then will be very difficult for the algorithm to match Tony Stark's face onto this face, because that's what the algorithm will do. So for example, a hand is in there. Don't train, very good on it. I think that's okay right there, and I also want to delete this one, because I know the last time I trained this was a picture that caused quite a bit of trouble. Back, and now comes the training process. Again, we have a few options here. And DF, you can also read through the manual. I'm gonna link in the description as well. You can read through any algorithm, what it does in detail. I'm just gonna roughly... DF is a algorithm that does its thing pretty decent, but not so good. I would not recommend it. H64 is pretty good if you don't have such a beefy graphics card. And H128 is pretty much just a better resolution. I don't know much about this algorithm, but I know that this one is SAE is the newest algorithm and is also pretty much the best. It's the same resolution as this one, but trains differently, and it's a combination of many algorithms. But for this tutorial I'm gonna go with H64, and actually you can really get also pretty good results with this algorithm. You just have to train a bit longer. Also, I forgot to mention, you should have a graphics card with at least 4 GB of memory. If you have one with 3, you can also do it. I would not recommend it, but the more graphics memory you have, better. For example, I can't really train on H128 because then I ran out of memory. And if you can try to run H128, but if it gives an error and in the error it says something with O, and if it says something with OOM, it says that it's out of memory. So then you don't have enough memory, graphics memory. So double click the train thing, and now it asks for many settings. I'm just gonna leave it on the default values. You can try and fiddle around with those settings, but in the training settings there isn't really much major things to do. I'm just gonna skip through here. Of course you can set a target iteration, so how many times it should train, but I'm just gonna leave it on to unlimited and let it run a while and then stop it manually. And of course you can try and with those settings around if you get better results. I don't really. And I also would recommend you that you have any specific questions, either ask them in the comments or read through the manual. Again, I'm gonna link this in the description as well. Though it's just Google translated, so now it says starting, and there we go. It opens this little preview window where we can see the images it shows from the destination and the source and the destination. And you can see the iteration it runs on, so this is the first iteration, and of course it doesn't have any results. And the only keys you really need is enter, which is saving and exiting. You can resume the training process at any time, just run the bat file again if you close it. And if you press P, you can update this window. I'm gonna do this shortly. In this window down here, in the command window, you can see the iteration it's currently on, if you don't see it here. So it's at iteration 60 now. And I'm gonna press P now. And you can see some pretty scary things right here. So what it tries to do now is it tries to reproduce those images here and here. Tries to reproduce those. And then those images here is a combination of both, or actually just Tony Stark's face, try to align to this face. You can't really see something right now, and I'm just gonna blend in some example how it could look if you run it for very long. If you think 1,000 iterations is enough, maybe it looks alright, you can try, but I'm just usually trying to get like to a 100,000 or something. At least, maybe 50,000 is also okay. But as you can see, you really have to run this like maybe a night. I'm gonna press enter now. Of course, this is not enough training process, but just for this tutorial purpose, I'm just gonna show you at the end of this video. I can show you an example of how it could look like with, I think, 40,000 iterations it was. So now the next step is to convert this model we generated. You can find the model in the Workspace and model folder. This is the model, or at least actually this one is the model. To convert this model, or actually to put it on the destination video, you have to choose the resolution you chose. So in this case H64, double click it, and now it's going to be a bit interesting because now you have to choose some settings that actually can drastically change. First of all, you have to choose the mode in which it's working on. Sometimes seamless work fine, but I have better experiences with histogram match, and that's pretty much just the way how it's defining where to put the model of Tony Stark's face, and this time how to put it on the destination face. So I'm gonna press 2 and enter for a histogram match. I don't want a masked histogram match, and of course you can play around with those settings. I have two settings I like to run with the first time because I know that those usually make pretty good results, which is right here, to apply a color transfer, which is the LCT. So just type in LCT and press enter. And I don't want super resolution. Nope. And then it's running. Then it's trying to process all images, and this also can take a while now. Okay, and if you see those messages where it says no faces found in this photo, that's not a problem. It's doing its thing and it's fine. The last step we actually have to do is to convert this data, that's flying around now, to convert this in a readable format for us, which would be MP4, MOV or RV. I'm gonna choose convert to MP4, and we don't need a lossless and a alpha because we don't even have any transparency in our video. So just convert to MP4. You can leave it as a default bitrate, and the last step is done. Now we can go back to our Workspace folder, and you will have a result.mp4. Don't be scared now. If you just have had like a 100 iterations, it won't look very good. As you can see, it really does not look good in any way, because we can see that he has like, you can see this shadow right here, and also his mustache isn't really showing up. It's all like mushed together, like blurred out, and also you can't really see pupils. If you have like 40,000 iterations like I had, you can have, for example, this result, which actually looks okay. Of course, you can see his mustache is a bit green because of the background, but that's something you can fix maybe in post, or actually if you fiddle around more with the settings when converting the model. But actually it really looks good. It actually could be an original video. You can also see that here the nose is much more detailed, and also the eyes, you can really see the white in the pupils. And also the eyebrows are aligned pretty fine. The only problem is when he turns to the side or has his hand in his head, because then you can't really tell what's the difference, because what's the difference between the hands and the face. So then it's a bit mushed together. So if you're filming stuff for the destination video, try to keep the head clear of any objects or hands or something. And also what you also want to try is get the shadow beneath the nose as small as possible, because that's a bit of a critical zone You really want to have clear, because otherwise you will have like a big black thing there. Like, also you can see that if he turns to the side, you can see a bit of the original face there. That's because he has a lot of motion blur on him, and also the algorithm can't really see that he's turning to the side. And here is also a bit, because here the conversion did not a really good job, because you can see the green shining through because it's clipping behind the video if you want so. And also the lips are kind of too red. But otherwise this video actually looks okay. There of course does not look good. But in this part of the video, for example, it really looks good, although he has his hand in the way of this face. So a bit is okay there. And this took me like a few hours. And you yourself just have to film the footage. And it's scary and awesome that technology can do something like that. So I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, just leave them below in the comments, and I hope you liked this video, although it's not at all music related. And if you want to support me, maybe consider subscribing or sharing this video, or even leave a like. It would really help me. And yeah, see you in the next one.